Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Status Update number 22. This is your 2024 Open Championship preview. We're going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about Royal Troon. We're going to talk about players, storylines, everything you need to know for the final major championship of the season. But before we get to that, I have an ask from you all. Please like, please subscribe, because we're going to be doing another B Dratty giveaway. That's right. B as in boy, D as in dog, Dratty giveaway. For those of you in the know, they are the outfitting partner for the President's Cup this year in Royal Montreal. Both the U.S. team and the international team are going to be rocking B Dratty. So, small ask from you. Comment USA or comment international below this video, and you will be thrown into a raffle to win one of those new polos that were just released this past week. They're pretty slick, I'm not going to lie. Mine should be coming in the mail here shortly. The international one, the black with the white maple leaves. Oh, I know I bleed the red, white, and blue, but that one, that one's downright dangerous, in my opinion, for this competition to be eligible, to make it live. I'm not going to be as nice this time. We're going to have to get to 400 subs. I think we're at like 350 right now, which isn't too shabby. But comment, like, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. If we get to 400, contest is live and you will be eligible. Simple as that. I think the last winner came away very happy with his product. I saw he was wearing it on the 4th of July, little Pinehurst number 2. That could be you. That could be you. You know what to do, okay? You know what to do. The shortcomings on this channel, everyone knows they're not my fault. They're the viewer's fault. I digress. Shall we get into it? Should we beat around the bush? I apologize for a little bit of a delay. I know I promised this on Sunday. It is Sunday afternoon, Sunday, July 14th. But it is a potentially where were you type of day for Spanish sports. Carlos Alcaraz dismantles the Joker. Much to my dismay, to tell you the truth, I love the Joker. Goes back to back at Wimbledon. Sergio El Nino and Los Fireballs both win in a playoff at Valderrama. Are you kidding me? The Spanish double. And later this afternoon, Spain is going to try to take down England in the Euro finals. Like I said, a potential where were you type of day. The three pinnacles of sports. Honestly, Wimbledon, does it get any higher than that? Euro, outside the World Cup, probably nothing higher than that. Live Golf Andalucia. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know which has more gravitas, so to speak. I'll leave that up to you. Okay. Royal Troon. Back to the Troon. A lot of gonna be talking about a lot of transportation modes of transportation. Gonna be a lot of airplane footage this week, a lot of train footage this week. I believe it's number 9 or 10 that's on the track, on the rail. And then you got the airplanes. There's going to be some low flying planes as well. So keep in mind, par 71 is going to be playing a shade under 7,400 yards, about 200 yards longer than 2016. You're going to go out 3,500 yards with a couple par fives. You're going to come in about, honestly, nearly 3,900 yards with just one par five. Wind is typically down on your way out and into on the way in. So it's really gentle. And then gradually it's going to get tougher and tougher. On the front side, you have four par fours under 400 yards. On the back side, you have six par fours at 450 or longer as well. So there's a little thing. Typically, I love the names of these open road golf courses, the holes on them, right? The one here at Royal Troon is obviously number 8, the postage stamp. But a little inside baseball here. Some say this course is in 3 acts, kind of a nod to Dante's Divine Comedy. First 6 holes are heaven. Next 6 holes are purgatory. The last 6 holes are hell. So if you hear that, credit me. And a couple changes compared to 2016, which we will get to. The bunkering seems a bit deeper, in my opinion. I know they resided all the bunkers, and I think they dug them a bit deeper. A true one-stroke penalty situation. Like I said, number 1 through 4, definitely gettable. Number 6 is the longest hole in the Open Rota history. Last year, Royal Liverpool had a par 5 about 620. I think this one's going to be about 622, 624, potentially. And not only does it have the longest, but it could potentially have the shortest. Like I said, number 8, the postage stamp. Famous hole, surrounded by 5 bunkers, small green, par 3. Might play under 100 yards at one point this week, so watch out for that. A lot of new tees. I mentioned that. It's going to force you to carry the bunkers. I think it's going to favor longer hitters as well. Stenson, a longer hitter. Mickelson, a longer hitter. Ernie Els, a longer hitter. Greens, very small. Some of the smallest in the Open Rota. About half the size of Turnberry, RIP. Got to bring that back. Quarter of the size of St. Andrews. And we know those greens are quite large. As for the past Open Championships at Royal Troon 2016, the Iceman, Henrik Stenson, versus Phil the Thrill Mickelson, 20 under winner, wins by 3. Complete duel there on Sunday. Henrik had the round of the day on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday. A couple 63s in there, including on Sunday. Mickelson held the 18 and 36 hole lead. JP Holmes finished a distant third place at 6 under. That's when Andrew Beef Johnston was all the rave. If you remember that, if you're a true sicko and remember that, I believe he got an RB sponsorship out of his play at the Open. Good for him. Stenson at the time, world number 6. Phil, world number 19. Massive wave difference as well. I think that's what a lot of people forget about is they were able to separate themselves, not only through their good play. Don't get me wrong, they were much better than everyone else in the field that week, but there was also a bit of a wave difference there as well. Scoring average for the week, 73.15, a shade over 2 over par, which is kind of surprising given Stenson got to 20, Phil got to 17. But like I said, JB Holmes, slow play extraordinaire, finishes at 6 under for championship flight victory. 2004, win a date with Tad Hamilton. No, Todd Hamilton wins in a playoff over Ernie Els at 10 under. Phil finishes at 9 under. Scoring average for the week, pretty similar, 73.2. So 2.2 strokes over par. I think longer hitters are going to thrive this week. I really do. I think that some of the carries that these guys are going to have to hit off the tee based on some of these other players who have found success here. Rory McIlroy was top 5 in 2016 as well. JP Holmes is a very long hitter too. Phil is long. Stenson was long. Ernie Els was long at the time. I think you're going to have to be a long hitter. Greg Norman nearly won here. Tiger had a chance here. You see the gears turning in my brain. Weather. I wanted firm, I wanted fast, I wanted brown baked out, and guess what? We're not going to get it. No. Thursday, showers, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. Friday, showers, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. Saturday, showers, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. And Sunday, I don't know if you've heard this before, showers, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. Temperatures in the mid 50s, might reach mid 60s. It's going to be wet, soggy, most likely. Hopefully that changes, right? But I think it's generally been a pretty wet, Scottish summer out there. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if you're over in that part of the world. Happy to be wrong in that regard. But it doesn't look like weather is going to be a massive factor, which downright fucking sucks. You heard me say it. It sucks. I want it firm. I want it fast. And meanwhile, we are getting wet, rainy, and maybe not a ton of rain or wind. Excuse me. Okay. Shall we get to the players? I think we shall. I think we shall. And I think beforehand, we should recognize the best 3 players in the world have won the first 3 major championships of the season. Scottie Scheffler, the best player in the world. Guess what? He wins the Masters. Xander Schauffele, in my mind, people are going to disagree. The second best player in the world. he wins the PGA Championship. Bryson DeChambeau, I think it's a tie right now with Rory McIlroy. Well, you got to give the nod to Bryson DeChambeau for being the third best player in the world. Some would argue second. Honestly, some would argue first, but those people are losers. They were watching Los Fireballs with me. I have him at number three. Guess what? He won the U.S. Open. So, could the fourth best player in the world, i.e., Rory McIlroy, win the Open Championship? It would be one of the best crop of major winners in a season in quite a long time, I would say. Quite a long time. Look at last year. Rahm, great. Who won the PGA last year? I have no idea. Oh my gosh, shame on me. Brooks Koepka, great. And then he kind of trailed off a little bit. Wyndham Clark, I know people don't like him. Brian Harman, touch on him a little bit, but we shall see. As for Scottie Scheffler, the betting favorite this week, big surprise, 5-1. Seems a little short in my humble opinion. Well, what has he done at the Open? Almost missed the cut last year, had to make birdie on the final hole at Royal Liverpool. Kind of shanked his bunker shot, third green side. It's a par five. Rode the face of the bunker, got up onto the green, 2 feet, made the putt. Lucky. Made the cut, finished inside the top 23. He has 3 straight top 23 finishes in his first 3 Open appearances. T8 in his debut in 2021 at Royale and Cheese. Nope, St. George's. Half a dozen wins this year, obviously. Has not been seen since the Travelers Championship. He's playing in Scotland. He's playing in Turnberry with Sammy Burns. And a fun stat about Scottie Scheffler in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ 2024. He's 1 stroke better per round than ding, 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 ding. I'll give you time to think about it. You're probably thinking, okay, who's like a mid-tier player? Is it like a Tommy Fleetwood? Is it a Cameron Young? No, he's 1 stroke better per round than Rory McIlroy. Yeah. Yeah. So think about it. Could Scottie Scheffler win this tournament? Yes. Will I be personally involved? No, I don't like to win money. So take that for what it is. He should be fine. He's not going to have to contend with some of the nuances of Pinehurst, which he did not like, which we should talk about, right? He was uncomfortable off the tee with the wiregrass, the native areas, the greens. I mentioned it before the U.S. Open. Scottie Scheffler has historically sucked on super fast, super grainy Bermuda greens like he had there at Pinehurst. You see, bad putters win the Open all the time. Rory McIlroy, second favorite, 7.5-1. Playing in the Scottish Open this week. Doesn't look like he's going to win. Probably like a top 10-ish, top 5 finish. Exactly what you want coming into a major championship, right? He's bounced back from disastrous major championships before. 2011 Masters. Well, next start, U.S. Open, wins by a ton, sets 11 scoring records, off and running at Congressional. 2022 St. Andrews, which he himself stated was worse than the U.S. Open, comes back later that summer, wins the FedEx Cup. I'm not comparing the two. Don't worry. I'm not. He's been awesome in the Open since his win at Liverpool in 2014. 8 Open appearances, 6 top 6 finishes, close calls at Carnoustie in 18. And of course, St. Andrews when he was in the final pairing with Victor Hovland. He's playing as well as ever. Driver's a weapon, long, straight off the tee. Looks fantastic. Iron play looks like it's improved a ton since the beginning of the year. Underrated always around the green. Putter was a little bit off there at the Scottish. Bit off there at the Scottish. Felt like a lot of guys were squeezing just about everything out of their rounds. Meanwhile, Rory McIlroy was sort of doing the opposite. Just leaving a ton of strokes out there. I looked to Saturday in particular, could have really given himself a real chance going into Sunday. Misses an 8-footer on 15, misses an 8-footer on 16, misses an 8-footer on 17, bogeys 18. Your tournament's more or less over. You can't have those lulls in major championships. I've talked about it at the PGA Championship as well. He didn't have those at the U.S. Open, unless you want to call those final 4 holes that he played in 3 over a lull, which technically you could, just happened at the worst time. But typically for Rory McIlroy, it seems to happen some point Friday or Saturday. He has a lull for an hour, hour and a half in his golf tournament. Saw it at the PGA Championship during the middle stretches of both his middle rounds. Saw it at the Scottish Open as well to end his third round. I know it's a difficult closing stretch, but you got to play that under par. Ludwig plays in a 3 under. Rory plays in 1 over, 4 stroke difference. That's kind of the golf tournament. Speaking of Ludwig, could he become the second Swedish golfer to win a major championship? Not only that, but the second at Royal Troon. That's right. Ludwig AI, the supercomputer. I don't know what I'm going to call this kid. Ludwig AI has gotten some legs, although I think it should be Ludwig OI based on the pronunciation of the A with the little O on top. But I don't like nicknames that have people's names in it, right? They aren't good. Like you need Diesel, the answer, right? What are the rest of them are just totally escaping me. Even something like for Tiger, Cat, easy to the point. Golden Bear, the King, the Black Knight. So we're gonna have to workshop this. It's definitely has to be artificial intelligence related. That's a given. But Ludwig AI, I don't think it works. Can't really call him AI. I don't mind the supercomputer. The machine is reserved for Albert Pujols, obviously. I might settle on the supercomputer. Sound off in the comments, okay? I'm going to need your help for this one. I'm not quite there. We can work on this together. I'll give credit to the entire team and we'll go from there. Okay. This will be only his fourth major championship. Yes, fourth. 36 and 54 hole leader there at the Scottish. He's going to enter the back nine. It's going on as I'm recording it with a 1 stroke lead over a couple guys. Runner-up finisher there at the Masters in his first major, first chance at Augusta National. 36 hole leader at the US Open as well. Saturday, kind of got punched in the face. Par 4, 13th, short hole, triple bogey, tournament kind of over. The question is, I was having this conversation with someone else, is this kind of just like the start for Ludwig? I'm not going to compare him with Tiger Woods, but if we went back to Tiger Woods at the start of his career and we're like, I think a really solid over under for Tiger Woods in major championships is 2.5. I think that's probably the over under for Ludwig. It's a different game. Fields are deeper. Younger and younger kids have more of a chance to win more than ever. But it sounds like anything we say about this kid could end up being true one day, but it just sounds ridiculous to say in the moment, right? Oh, Ludwig, I think he's going to win 6 majors. That sounds pretty ridiculous. He's going to be number 1 in the world one day. That honestly doesn't sound that ridiculous. And so hasn't really been afforded the links golf opportunities quite yet. Missed the cut at the Scottish last year. Well, he might just win it this year. I think less wind. I like that more for someone like Ludwig. I do think he lacks a little bit of creativity, but if it's kind of just low in 10 and rainy, that is more or less target golf. And I think he could thrive in that. So 12 to 1, kind of short in my opinion, but I don't hate it. Next, the US Open winner, Bryson DeChambeau, 14 to 1, one top 10 and 6 Open appearances. That came at the 2022 Open at St. Andrews. That was actually amid a pretty bad year for Bryson DeChambeau. So played well there. I think he putted quite well at St. Andrews. Playing well in Live since the US Open. His crushing defeat there. Anibarn Lahiri, Ban, as he's called by his friends. Misses a 2-foot putt there on 18 to win the individual title and win the team title for the Crushers. They go to a playoff. Los Fireballs win. I think Bryson bogeyed. And then Sergio Garcia wins the individual over Bond. But he's playing well. Played well at Valderrama. Played well the week after the U.S. Open. Somehow finished on the podium distantly. And so I think at the Pinehurst, he obviously proved once again. He proved at Winged Foot as well, albeit somewhat different courses, Winged Foot and Pinehurst number 2, that he can win in firm and fast. But I think over here on the Open, with the weather that I talked about, I like him more in the wet, soft conditions, him being able to bomb it out there, him being able, not having to factor in massive wind, him not having to factor in a ton of runoff in between these pop bunkers that, like I said, are going to be one stroke penalties in the middle of the fairway. So I do like how it is lining up for him. 14's tough, though. I pass. Like, it's not going to be surprising if any of these guys win, obviously. Next, Xander Schauffele, same number, 14 to 1. 51 straight made cuts. I'm putting an asterisk next to that. I'm not making Taylor Gooch joke because I'm original. Shout out to Matt Damon. How you like them apples? His cut streak is the longest on the PGA Tour since Tiger Woods' 142, just past Steve Stricker, who I believe did it from 2009 to 2011. He got to 49, I believe, during that span. Made cut at the Scottish Open was number 51. But you want to know what number 50 was? The Travelers Championship, where there's no cut. So does that mean, looking back on it, that the Tour Championship counts, that the BMW Championship count, that all these different signature events like Harbor Town, do they all count? Does the Century count? That is a whole bunch of bullshit, in my opinion. So, despite all that, hasn't missed a cut since the 2022 Masters. He's made all 6 cuts at the Open. He had a chance in 2018 at Carnoustie. I remember the crying baby. Look it up on the 71st hole, number 17. He's short right of the green. About to hit his third. Baby starts crying. Maybe a little of maybe a sign of things to come. I don't know. Ultimately finishes T2, a couple top 20s last 2 years, but not really in contention. He's been a little off since the PGA Championship. I think even he would admit that at Memorial. Iron play was not up to snuff. At the US Open, driver was not up to snuff. Travelers Championship got himself into the mix. I think he touched the lead at one point on Sunday early in his round. Short game kind of abandoned him. And then Scottish Open, just not quite as sharp recently. Results still good. He's that good of a player. He's raised his baseline very, very high. Second best player in the world, like I said, statistically at least. And you add in a major championship in the deepest field of the year. I don't care what you want to say about Valhalla. He's my number 2. So, that being said, yeah, he could win, obviously. Next, Colin All Angels, Morikawa, 18 to 1. This could be shortened if he wins this week. He is one of the players trying to track down Ludwig Oberg at the moment. Oh my goodness. Wow, developing. Ludwig Oberg bogeys the 11th, drops to 16 under. He's tied with Adam Scott. Let's go. Let's go. Meanwhile, Colin Morikawa, oh, he double bogeyed the 11th. What did he do? Left intermediate, 180 yards. Second, native area. Third, bunker. Fourth, green. 5, miss. That's okay. I'm glad we brought this up. He still could win. He's only 2 back with 7 to play. Potentially could win. This could age very poorly, very quickly, like a lot of my takes. But seems like since the Masters, which his play is well documented, one of the best players in the world, probably the 4th or 5th best players in the world, right? He's given himself a ton of chances. At the Masters, he went shot for shot with Scottie Scheffler for the first 8 holes, could not buy a putt. At the PGA Championship, could not buy a putt. At the Memorial, he drains a deep one there on 12, the par 3, right after Scheffler sauteed one in there nicely. Really difficult hole, that par 3 down the hill with the water in front. And Scheffler leaves the door open multiple times. 16, the par 5. Morikawa misses a, I don't know, 7-footer to tie the lead. Next hole, Scheffler 3 putts from the front of the green. Morikawa makes bogey himself. 18, doesn't hit the green in regulation, doesn't give himself a birdie chance. The door has been open for Colin Morikawa to win golf tournaments this year. That is a fact. He hasn't stepped through yet. Now, I'm on the brink of calling him Bubble Boy, which is unfair, but I'm on the brink of doing it. Mostly because His wins, bubble era, 2021 Open champion winner, 2020 PGA championship winner, winner at the Workday as well, bubble boy, concession, bubble boy. Hasn't done a ton since winning wise. It's not fair. I understand that. And he also, like, he dresses his dog up, which is a red flag. He's also part of two consulting firms, Grant Thornton and KPMG. I've never seen that before. And Zurich, which I believe is insurance. But he is, a lot of people give Patrick Cantlay shit for his sponsorships. Morikawa's like a wannabe Wall Streeter, but he's the bubble boy instead. Weird links golf history, like I mentioned. Won in 2021 in his debut. There is no weather that week. Zero. Zip. Nada. Putted his balls off. Missed cuts at Scottish in the last two Opens. T71 at the Scottish Open the week before his win at Royal St. George's. Contending this week at the Renaissance Club, which I hate to digress again, but I don't understand why we have to call this golf course the Renaissance Club. Call it the Renaissance Club. What was that period in art called? The Renaissance era? No, the Renaissance era. It honestly reminds me of I was a finance major in college. Obviously, I'm putting that degree to very good use this day and age. And I would have friends with massive Napoleon complexes. An oxymoron, I understand. I am a writer. Who would call it finance. Oh, are you going to corporate finance? Oh, are you going to introduction to finance? Are you going to this finance class? What path are you taking with your finance major? I'm like, dude, you sound like such a douchebag right now. Just call it finance. And honestly, I sound like a bit of a douchebag when I say Renaissance Club. That being said, if the weather is calm for Bubble Boy, he's good to go. Playing great golf. Like I mentioned, driver was a little off this week, I would say. He's proven he can putt these greens very well, very effectively, these slower greens, and he's playing as good as golf as anyone else. So, a Collin Morikawa victory. I don't think he's going to win another Open Championship in his career, but it wouldn't be all too surprising. Someone who might not win an Open Championship in his career, Tommy Fleetwood. Thomas, our Lord and Savior, had a chance last year at Liverpool, hometown kid, everyone rooting for him, coming in super solid form, but like not a ton of contention this year. In fact, zero dating back to that win in Dubai, week number one, excuse me, of the DP World Tour season when Rory McIlroy hit the AOC ball left into the Dead Sea, perhaps? Do you think that floats? Do you think golf balls float in the Dead Sea? Or is it the Red Sea? Someone let me know that. I don't have it in front of me. Wherever you float, it's dead or red, but I think it's dead. But I think I just said red. I'm going to get into a rabbit hole of dead and Red Sea later this evening. And Tommy Fleetwood's to blame. Actually, Rory McIlroy, technically. Since 2018, four top 12 finishes, including a pair of top fives. That actually includes St. Andrews, who was a very distant inside the top five that week. Top 10 last year, I believe, kind of fell off the pace. Look, I've gone down the Tommy Fleetwood path before. I did, honestly, this past week at the Scottish Open. He was my one and done pick. I was really jazzed up for him. Great opening round. Second, got nothing out of it. Keeps himself in the golf tournament. Third, gets off to a blazing start and then finishes like a complete pansy out of the golf tournament. He should have shot like 59 on Saturday, the way he hit the golf ball, and he shot 4 under. Not good. So he's just tough to trust. If you want to bet him like top 10, top 20, by all means. But to win at 22 to 1, a guy who hasn't won on the PGA Tour, I find that a little bit tough to stomach. Next, and I also think it's kind of crazy that Tommy Fleetwood is shorter than Jonathan Rahm. Yes, Ron J. Ham, the biggest threat to Brian Harman last season. I believe he got as close as 3 early in that final round at Liverpool. Makes birdie, eagle on an early par five. Harmon hits it into the gorse, has to take an unplayable, might make bogey. I think he gets within three. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's fairly accurate, about 83% accurate. Wasn't able to apply too much pressure on the back nine. Harmon was awesome, sensational. And obviously a very weird year for Jon Rahm. Some would say a lost year. And I don't want to hear the look at his live golf results. He's been awesome. What are you talking about? He's number two in the season long race. How could you say it's a lost year for Jon Rahm? If we ever reach a point in the history of golf, talking about golf, where we are like, dude, remember Jon Rahm's 2024 on live? I'll admit defeat. I don't think we're ever going to get there. I think we're more likely to get to a point where we look back and we say, dude, do you remember how stupid the Fireball jerseys were? And the fact that people were wearing them to major championships? I think that's more likely than us going back and saying, wow, Jon Rahm's 2024 was awesome. I think it rivaled his 2023 when he won four times, when he won the Masters, when he almost won the Masters and the Open. That being said, fine starts on live golf. I'm not judging Jon Rahm on his live golf stuff. I'm not judging anyone on their live golf stuff, right? Major championships. That's what matters. I will judge on PGA Tour victories too. That one, yeah, what just came out of my mouth might get a little heat for it. I'm gonna take it. Gonna take it on the chin. Come at me, boys. Weird season though, right? Especially in major championships. Non-factor at the Masters, misses the cut at the PGA Championship. WD at the US Open doesn't even play. Oh man, I don't know what to do with him. Like top three in Nashville, week after the US Open, right? Not healthy enough to play in the US Open, but he's healthy enough to play in Nashville the very week after. Valderrama plays okay. I have no idea what to expect from Jon Rahm. Zero, which is very, very concerning because he is a person you typically know what to expect from. But this year, being 2024, maybe it's just one of those years that we look back on and be like, man, Jon Rahm's 2024 was pretty odd. I think we can agree on that. I doubt it, though. His teammate on Legion, yes, I did not mispronounce that. His Legion 13, who is playing some really good golf. House Tyrell Hatton, great links player in great form. Nearly won in Valderrama, won in Nashville, four top 20s in his seven opens. T5 in this championship in 2016, I believe 16 strokes off the winning score. My issue with Hatton, and he's going to be a darling this week. Do not get me wrong. If you're playing office pools, if you're playing daily fantasy, DFS, if you're betting, I mean, Tyrrell Hatton's 25 to 1 right now. And he's a great player, great all-around player, awesome on links golf. He's won, I think he won the Alfred Dunhill before, the one that kind of goes through some of those rota courses, including St. Andrews. He's, of course, won the BMW PGA Championship before. The Arnold Palmer that he won was windy conditions as well. He's never contended in a major. And I know that doesn't matter. It's not a indication of success. Wyndham Clark had never contended in a major championship, and he won the US Open. But I typically like to see a guy there first. There are, of course, outliers. Ludwig, right, at the Masters, like I said, with Wyndham Clark. But for the most part, you got to taste it a little bit before. And he hasn't done that. And for that reason, and for the crash in his price, like, oh no, Black Monday, 25 to 1. What is that? Tommy Fleetwood hat. Oh my God, and him too. He's just gonna be too popular, I think. I'm avoiding him. Actually, he might be like a safe play in office pools. I mean, he's like vintage T12. You go through the leaderboard at the end of the week, come Sunday evening, you go, oh, Hatton finished T12. Yeah. His major form's decent this year too. Okay, next, Victor Hovland, 25 to 1, same price. Opened his open career. Keep up. Opened his open career. Three straight top 15 finishes. Obviously, contention run there at St. Andrews alongside Rory McIlroy final day. Kind of dragged him back a little bit. Short game issue, still very much real. There are 172 players on the PGA Tour website listed for strokes gained around the green. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, number 172 is dun 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 Hov, Victor Hovland. So seems to be fighting the big number a little bit. That is what I have noticed since really miscut at the US Open and this week at the Scottish Open. And I do have a question to pose to the audience. I know it's a big tournament to take away from someone's season, but how would you view Victor Hovland's 2024 if the PGA Championship never happened? Not good. I think you would say it's been about close to an F of a season. And I can say that because Victor Hovland is obviously regarded highly in these parts. Former FedEx Cup champ, contending in major championships a ton in 2023. Perhaps the best player without a major championship. But you take that away. He hasn't contended in one single tournament. I understand it's a huge tournament, but he's going to be outside the top 50 in the FedEx Cup even with that result. I gave Justin Thomas an F for finishing 71st in the FedEx Cup in 2023. Victor Hovland's a better player comparatively. Those two stages, 2023 Justin Thomas and 2024 Victor Hovland. 2024 Victor Hovland's obviously a better player. So that's why I feel like I can give him an F when he's going to be, I don't know, 55th in the FedEx Cup heading into the Open with 5 weeks left in the season. That's a failure for a guy who was arguably the best player for, I don't know, 10, 11 months ago. What he did during the postseason into the Ryder Cup. That being said, Link's golf history is awesome. And he's the type of guy who knows how to play major championship golf too. Talk about it all the time. Some guys know how to play, others do not. One guy who does surprisingly know how to play, and I cannot believe he's at this number. Robert McIntyre is 28 to 1 to win the Open. And I get it. Back-to-back runs at the Scottish Open. Fantastic. He doesn't look like he's going to win the Scottish this year. Winner in Canada in rainy conditions. Fantastic. Sneaky good major record. Fantastic. 4-4 making the cut at the Open. Fantastic. T6 at a rainy Royal Portrush in his debut. T8 in 2021 at a good weather Royal St. George's as well. Fantastic. Is Robert McIntyre going to win the 2024 Open? No. Okay. No. Someone who could, and admittedly, someone who. So my one and done selection. I'm in a bit of a pickle because Fleetwood completely gagged on me at the Scottish. I needed at least a top 10 out of him, and it looks like we might not even get a top 20, which is disappointing. Oh my gosh, Adam Scott almost made a hole in one. Oh my God, Tommy Fleetwood's T34. Oh, I think I'm gonna die. So it's either my one and done is either going to be Rory McIlroy. I might panic pick completely, or it's going to be this man Brooks Koepka, which case could be made is also a panic pick. Disappointing season for Brooks. Has a win on live, but really nothing in the major championships. A couple T26s at the US Open and the PGA Championship. Masters didn't go too well. He's hit the ball awesome in majors, though. Great from tee to green at both Valhalla and Pinehurst number 2. Switch back to his gamer, which I like. 4 top 10s in the last 7 opens. I just have a feeling. I found a 40. It could be closer to 50 come game time. I have a feeling. I hate the and look, I don't like The Brooks Koepka circle of the internet is a scary place to be an enemy of. And I have unfortunately been labeled an enemy of that circle before. It is not fun. It is not fun. Weeks of major championships, when you're doing a ton of shows, you're doing a ton of programming, you're doing about every version, every medium of media. Yeah. People come in and they get introduced to your name. And if they don't understand that you're a sarcastic son of a bitch, that you have a dry sense of humor, and that more or less half of everything you said is tongue in cheek, you get exposed. I learned that the hard way last season during the PGA Championship. Luckily, the 350 of you, soon to be 400, understand the cut of my cloth. So I am in on Brooks Koepka at the Open Championship. Like I said, I think length is going to be a big factor. The slower greens, I think, could help him with his putting deficiency that has been relevant in 2024. And of course, the major pedigrees. Awesome. Shane Lowry, 33 to 1, playing really good golf, top 10 at the Travelers, top 20 at the US Open, in contention at the PGA Championships, shot 62 on Saturday. Win T12, T21, cut in his last four Opens. Before that, he missed four straight cuts at the Open, which was quite odd. Oh man, I'm burping. I believe 25's at Portrush next year. I just personally, I was going to call him the diet version of Tommy Fleetwood, but I think if anything, you should call Tommy Fleetwood the diet version of Shane Lowry. Resumes are, of course, very different. He has a WGC. He's got a BMW PGA Championship win. He's got a major championship win, one as an amateur. Lowry's resume is much better. But I think my confidence in them is similar, where I think I can call one a diet version of the other. Not interested. Cameron Smith, 33 to 1, solid outing at Valderrama. T20, T33 win, T33 last four Opens. Quietly came into Liverpool in great form last year, never amounted into anything. And it's always the same with Cameron Young. It is, can he get off the tee? And with how penal these pop bunkers appear based on footage I've watched, the videos I have seen, the people I've talked to, the stories I have heard, it is a scary proposition. Got around St. Andrews effectively, but that was more or less a wedge fest. In this, like I said, I would not be surprised if you turn on the TV Thursday morning and Cameron Smith is 3 under 3-5, and you're telling yourself, fuck, why did I not bet on Cameron Smith? But then he's going to slowly bleed out, shoot even, and that's going to be the cadence of a lot of rounds there at Royal Troon. So I think he's going to excite a lot of people, but I don't think I love Cameron Smith though. We'll come back to him. But then again, he shot like 80 in Houston, Pinehurst number two. I loved him at Pinehurst, and then I backed out last second. Um, which I guess is a good time to remind people of the official pick tally. Scottie Scheffler, 1-for-1 at the Masters. PGA Championship official pick, Bryson DeChambeau finished solo second. Not bad. And the official pick of the 2024 US Open, we audibled once I found out Cameron Smith shot 80 at Live Golf Houston. The haters are furious with my audible. Omaha, Omaha, Omaha at the line. John Fox on the sidelines, nodding his head. I'm moving traffic. I see the safety creeping up. The slot corner's coming. Hot route, pancake, Apple Jacks, side of bacon. Huh. We audibled to Hideki Matsuyama. 8th place finish. 3 for 3 for top 10s. Not bad, you guys. So, that being said, fuck. Is my official pick going to be Rory? I've never had okay, this is the fourth major. I've never not had an official pick before I came on the show. My official pick to win is Brooks Koepka. Hmm. That's right. That way, I picked two live guys, picked two PGA Tour guys. Bipartisan, baby. I'm reaching across the aisle. I'm shaking hands, kissing babies. Who are we on? Oh, Patrick. Honestly, this is the range we're about to get into that aren't I like a lot more than these 20s. Like you go through this, look who's in the 20. Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Victor Hovland, Robert McIntyre. That doesn't really induce confidence, right? It doesn't exude confidence. That's the word I was looking for. But this range, it's like, dude, we could be cooking with gas. Patrick Cantlay's 40 to 1. He showed you something there at the US Open. I don't think people realized how close Patrick Cantlay was to backdooring the win at the US Open in typical Patrick Cantlay fashion. He had a putt on the 15th hole from 15 feet to get to 5 under, the ultimate winning score. Misses it. Doesn't get up and down on 16. Makes par on 17. 18. He has a putt to get to 4 under from below the hole, 11 feet. He gets to four. You think, okay, Rory misses his 4 footer. He gets to four. Bryson doesn't get up and down from 50 yards in the fairway bunker. We're running three wide down the home stretch at Pinehurst number two. So he showed me a lot. He showed me a lot, right? Contended for the first time since the 2019 Masters when what he did can only be described as shitting down his pants after he grabbed the lead with an eagle on 16 or eagle on 15, pardon, bogeyed 16, 17, falls off. T8, yes, I was surprised to see this as well. T8 at the 2022 Open at St. Andrews. Followed up the US Open with another quality start at the Travelers Championship. Haven't seen him since. Out of sight, out of mind. 40 to 1. I'm kind of I'm loving these next three guys. And the next, it pains me to say, young Tom Kim, sneaky good links record, runner-up finisher last year at Liverpool with a bum ankle, right? We're talking about shilling, blood on the sock. That was pretty much Tom Kim last year. He limped around Liverpool like a hero. It was the story of Netflix. Great, some solid form. Finishes well at the Scottish Open. Playoff loss at the Travelers Championship, which I don't like him mucking it up with Scottie before and during the playoffs. Like, dude, have a little dog in you. Close call in Canada as well. I think good weather, Open Championship. That could be that could be Tom Kim. Man, this is a bummer. Wow, Adam Scott, two-stroke lead. Ludwig with another bogey. Oh, this is awesome. I love Adam Scott. So bet him now, although this video is going to come out like right when the tournament ends. So sorry. He's 80 to 1. I put it out there. Also at 40 to 1, Tony Finau. Guys, Tony Finau is playing awesome. He's playing really good golf in contention at the US Open, in contention at the Travelers. His short game, hello. It's been humming. Gained in 6 straight around the greens, gained in 3 straight putting. And then you look at his Open Championship record. Could this week be like Portrush? Wet, rainy, disgusting. That's kind of what I'm envisioning and kind of hoping for. Who finished third at Portrush? Tony Finau. And you think about who played well there. Obviously, Lowry kind of ran away with it. A lot of heavy hitters. Brooks, JP Holmes again. He slow played the fuck out of Brooks in the final round. And Tony Finau. So only two of them are in the field this week. So Finau's at 40. Hideki Matsuyama's at 45 to 1. Played well at the US Open, like I mentioned. Uh, oh, wait, he finished in sixth, not eighth. Shame on me. Four top tens in his last seven starts, T13 in last year's Open, which kind of surprised to see. Don't remember him playing all that well. And that's going to do it. We have the next crop of guys are guys who are probably going to tickle your balls a little bit during the Open. And then you're going to be like, oh, man, it's Cameron Young, Justin Thomas, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sahith Theegala, who I don't mind, and Minwoo Lee, who is at 55. Others are at 50. Then we get into some of the notables. Brian Harman, actually finding a bit of form, defending champion at 66. Joaquin the Dream Neiman almost won in Valderrama, has yet to contend in a major championship. Zero top tens in, I believe, 22 maybe starts. Jordan Spieth, who is 10 for 10 making the cut at the Open, like rarely outside the top 20. Of course, the win in 2017, nearly won in 2015 at St. Andrews, took the season slam to the 70th hole. He had the lead after the 70th hole, bogeyed the road hole, doesn't birdie 18 out of the playoff. Winner, the boys club, Jay Tizzle's boy, Zach Johnson. Adam Scott, like I mentioned, 80 to 1. Then we get deep. Dustin, don't call me Dustbin Johnson. Shout out to Alex Myers, 125 to 1. I do have words about Dustin Johnson. A lot of people are saying, like, he's still a top 20 player in the world, OWGR, yada, yada, yada. It's like, when I worked at the Postal Service many moons ago, it was obvious. People were not trying to hide the fact that they were just working towards their retirement. Government pensions, very nice, very cushy, very rewarding. So, what do if you're nearing the end of your career? You don't implement any new changes. Why do you think it's so hard for the government to expedite processes? It's because the people in charge, they don't want the extra work. Well, it's worked so well for my entire career. Why at the end of it should I change anything? They go to the bathroom when an auditor is nearing their office. They sprint away from you. They take 2-hour poops to avoid you. They play on their phone in the stall. They avoid you at all costs. They don't want to change anything. Their eyes are on the finish line. And look, at the time when I was working in it, I detested these people. I thought, how could you do this? What a waste of money. Now it's like, yeah, I kind of understand it. It's honestly what's wrong with the government. We don't need to get into that. But when I think about my time at the United States Postal Service and some of the control owners and the stakeholders and the people who are in charge, it kind of reminds me of Dustin Johnson. He's accomplished a shit ton in his career. He's done a lot of good, two-time major champion, in contention a ton of major championships, raking it in on live, got the bag, over 100 mil. Just coast and have some fun. That's what I see from him. Straka's 100, runner up last year at the Open. Russ Bus Hunley, buck 25, and Keegan Bradley, buck 75. The U.S. Open or U.S. Ryder Cup captain, which surprisingly I did not talk about, nor do I need to, because everyone has an opinion on that. And that, I believe, should do it. I know office pool sleepers we could talk about, maybe obscure Europeans who could play well. Sebastian, don't call me Dane Soderberg. I'm not sure if Romain Lettuce Languesque is in the field or Michael Thorbjorn Olesen. Guido, Rio Hisasunte, David Pew, is Marcel Siem. Who's Joe Dean? Oh my God, this field is obscure. I love the Open. It is the best major to watch, in my opinion. There's Matthew Berry, the fantasy football guy, Matthew Dodd Berry, Ryan Van Velzen. These names are awesome. Gun Tuck Co. Sleeper of the week for me is going to be Jack McDonald, my long lost brother, 1,000 to 1. He is your Open winner. Jesper Svensson. I've actually heard that name. Okay, I digress. Look, this was fun. I hope you all enjoyed this. There's a ton of open previews out this week. Others with a ton more production value, probably name value in the space, information value. Honestly, all more valuable. But you chose to listen to this one, and that's why I'm grateful for you. If you want to check me out for the rest of the week, CBS Sports HQ. Throughout the week, you're probably wondering, I get this a lot. It's like, what the fuck, CBS Sports HQ? It's our 24/7 news network. It's on the CBS Sports app on your smart TV or cbssports.com. I'll be on CBS Sports Network, I believe, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, potentially Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. They want this ugly mug. First Cut Podcast post rounds. I believe I'm on Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well. Not on Thursday. We're on Tuesday also. Early wedge for betting picks Tuesday night as well. Normal times 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah, it's going to be go, go, go. A lot of Celsius, which I'm thinking they should probably sponsor this podcast at this point because I drink so much of it. Maybe that's why I can't breathe right now. A lot of coffee. Got the Nespresso machine purring, the capital ing. And yeah, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys. I'm excited for the final major championship of the season. I think they should move the PGA back to the August because I think it's ridiculous that it is only the second or third week of July and major championship season is about to be over. It should line up with golf season, and it hasn't. So we need to move the PGA back to August. And I think that would satisfy a lot of needs because honestly, I don't really care about the postseason too much. And I'm not alone in that sentiment. Okay, that's enough of me. For producer Pat, thank you for your hard work. For intern Rick, I'm not going to hire you full time ever, dude. Sorry. I am Patrick. This was Status Update number 22, your 2024 Open Preview. I love you. I see you. Have a great day.